Hey guys, I hope y'all are having a great day today. So we're going to be revisiting the new Danessa Myricks Yummy Skin Blurring Balm Powder, and today I'm testing out the translucent shade. So I already tested this out in shade number 8. That shade was a little too warm for me. I did go back and get shade number 7, and that's a much better match. However, I was really impressed with how shade number 8 wore on my oily skin. One of the biggest claims of this product is that it helps reduce shine production during the day, and I thought it did an excellent job on my oily skin. So for those of you who are new here, I usually don't wear foundation primer. I just don't think it's necessary for me. I have a lot of foundations that wear pretty much all day without the need for primer, but I'm wondering if this one will make me change my mind because I was so happy with how the skin tone shade wore on me. I definitely had to try this out. So I do already have this on my face on one side only, and I'm wearing it underneath the Pat McGrath foundation. So on one side of my face, I have this with the Pat McGrath foundation on top, and then on the other side I have just the Pat McGrath foundation. So I'm going to take you guys back and I'll show you what side I have this on, and then I'll give you guys my first impression. Then we're going to shoot for an 8-hour wear test, and I'll check in at a couple of times throughout the day, and over the course of the day we're going to see if this does indeed reduce shine as a primer. So that's what we're testing out today. I am really excited, so let's jump right into it. Okay, so let's jump right in with applying this. I'm going to apply the primer on this side of my face. Just in case you're not familiar with this product, you can use it as a primer underneath other products, or you can just use it as a standalone product to give yourself a blurring effect. So I'm going to be using it, like I said, as a primer today. I'm going to be applying it with my Morphe E63 brush. Now, this is the brush that I usually apply with, that I apply foundations with, but I want to use it for this just because this is the brush that I use for the for shade 8, and I really liked it. So I feel like I'm going to stick with this brush for the translucent shade, and I'm going to be concentrating this product mostly in the T-zone area because that is where I get the most shiny. So most of this is going to go right on the forehead area, and I am going to drag it over because I do get pretty shiny over here too. So basically like my whole forehead area, down one side of my nose and on the sides of my nose. And then I'm gonna drag it out because I get shiny kind of like all up in here, and then also down the side of my face, and then I'm gonna try to hit just like one side of the chin. This has kind of like a minty smell to it, and I don't recall that scent being in the skin tone shade that I tried out, but it's kind of like medicinal, kind of like a Vicks type of smell. So I'm just patting this in. Okay, so let me know what y'all are thinking. So one of the things I noticed about the skin tone shade that I tried out is that the shine, like it looked really balmy in the packaging, and then as soon as you put it on, the shine kind of died down almost instantly. And I think this one is looking just a little bit more shiny than the skin tone shades, but it does look like it's dying down as I'm looking at it. It's definitely giving me like a blur, like on the sides of my nose. I feel like right over here I do have a blurring effect, but the shine is going away. It's just, to me, it looks like it's taking just a little bit longer to kind of like set on the skin compared to the skin tone shade. So I'm just going to let this sit for a couple of minutes, and then we'll go over here first and apply the foundation while this is settling in. So today we're going to be using the Pat McGrath foundation. Now this is one of my favorite ones in terms of what the finished product looks like, but it is one of those foundations for oily skin where you do have to go in and touch it up after about maybe like 5 or 6 hours. I wouldn't consider it like a long wearing foundation on oily skin, so I purposely picked this one so that we can see if this side stays shine free a lot longer. So let's go in and apply the foundation on this side of the face. And because I usually use this for foundations, today I'm going to be blending out with my foundation number 1 brush from It. What is this? It Brushes for Ulta. So remember, I have no primer on this side of the face. I am in the shade MD22 in this foundation, and I always put a list of my best matching foundations in my description box in case you want to refer to that. All right, I'm going to put on just a little bit more, maybe like a half a pump more, and I'm building up this second layer primarily on the cheeks, and then I'm just going to blend out the rest all over this side of the face. Okay, now back to the primer side. I still feel like the primer is looking just a tad shiny where I've applied it. So I'm really curious to see how this works out, because I was expecting it to look just a little more, I guess a little more matte by now. But we're going to keep going and see what happens. So I'm going to now apply some foundation to this side. So because I'm spreading this foundation around, I am going to be, I guess, picking up a little bit of the primer on the areas that I applied it, and kind of, I'm going to end up spreading it out, you know, in other areas where I didn't apply the primer directly, but still most of the product is in my T-zone area. Okay, so do we notice any type of difference like right away? I am going to build this side up with another layer too. I do feel like this side is looking smoother. Would you guys agree with that? I do think this side, you know, it looks more flawless over here. Okay, I zoomed y'all in just a little bit more, so I'm going to build this side up too with like another half a pump of product. So what are we thinking? Again, we have the Blurring Balm Powder over here and just foundation over here. I do think that I'm liking this side better. It also looks like a different shade of foundation over here. Am I seeing things? Like, to me, this one just looks, I don't know, like my skin looks just more awake or something over here. Like this side looks a bit dull to me. Do y'all see that? I mean, overall, I feel like I'm liking this side of my face better. What do you guys think? Primer side, no primer. I'm definitely liking this side better already. Okay, I'm gonna put my concealer on and set my under eyes. We'll come back and then we'll see what the foundation looks like after sitting for a couple of minutes, and then we'll see if we notice anything different. Okay, it's been a couple minutes. I put my concealer on and set the under eye. I have not set the foundation yet because I wanted to show y'all what that looks like before I set it. So I don't know if it's just me, but I feel like y'all can see on camera. I do think that the primer side, the primer is like making the foundation look completely different than over here. Like, to me, this just looks a lot more, I don't know, better. It looks more like awake or something. Like, this looks dull to me over here, and I never thought that the Pat McGrath foundation looked dull to me before, but up against this side with the primer, it's looking dull. Like, that's so crazy to me. But anyway, we're gonna go ahead and set the foundation. I always like to show you on camera how I set it because I do feel like that affects how it wears. But I am doing the usual. But for those of you who are new, I'm using my Kosas Cloud Set Powder. This is the shade Pillowy, and it's a pretty translucent shade on me. So I'm gonna set the non-primed side first, just so that I won't accidentally pick up any of the primer from over here and put it on this side. I'm probably being a little extra right now, but you know. And I'm just really pushing it in my face like I normally would, just to make sure that the makeup is nice and set. Okay, so this is what we're looking like with the makeup all nice and set. I cannot get over how I look like I have on two different foundations right now. I know I keep repeating myself, but that's just crazy to me. But let's go ahead and put on some blush and bronzer on camera while we're here. I'm going to use my e.l.f. Blush palette. I'm using this orangey shade here. I picked this up the last time I filmed, and I really liked it, so I'm going to use it again today. This was like my very first like go-to blush, I guess, before I moved on to other things. So I've had this for a really long time, but like really that only color that I ever use is the orangey shade. And for my bronzer, I'm using my Charlotte Tilbury powder bronzer, another one that's not my go-to these days, but I picked it up when I did my last video, and now I just want to, you know, keep using it for a while. Okay, I'm gonna throw on some lipstick and I'll be right back. Okay, so here's the makeup for today. Everything is in the description box per the usual. So again, I have the primer side over here underneath the Pat McGrath foundation, and then on this side I have just the Pat McGrath foundation. So let me know what your first impression is. My first impression, I am definitely liking the primer side better. I think that my face just looks more enhanced over here in terms of the shade, in terms of the finish of it. I think it looks a bit more flawless over here, and I do think that it's starting to look a bit more of like a matte finish, like a natural matte finish over here. This side is definitely not shiny yet, like it still looks really good, but I do feel like as the makeup is settling in, this side is just looking more like smooth. It just looks better. Like overall, it just looks better on this side. But the main thing that we're testing is, does this product help prevent oil production during the day? So I'm hoping I'm going to wear this for about 8 hours, and I'm hoping that over here I just get a lot less shiny compared to this side. So we're going to start our wear test, and I'm going to check in a couple of times during the day. But like I said, I'm shooting for a full 8-hour wear, so it's about 1:45 in the afternoon. So I will see y'all probably in about 3 or 4 hours, and then we will see what we're looking like. Okay guys, it's 4:30, so we are 3 hours in. So this is what we're looking like. So I'm sitting right across from a window so you can see what we're looking like in natural daylight. So this is the side over here with just the Pat McGrath foundation, no primer underneath. And then over here we have the side with the Danessa Myricks primer and underneath the Pat McGrath foundation. So let me know if you guys notice a difference. Here's a shot straight ahead. I notice a difference. I think that I am definitely less shiny on the side with the Danessa Myricks primer. I think I'm getting like natural glow over here versus I'm getting shine over here. So normally when I do these types of videos, I'll refresh the makeup halfway through and then keep wearing it. I'm not going to refresh today. I am going to do another check-in before we wrap things up, but I'm not going to refresh, so that at the end of the video we can see exactly how much of a difference we're working with in terms of the level of shine on both sides. But so far I think that the Danessa Myricks one is holding up a lot better. So I will see y'all in a couple hours for my next check-in. Hey guys, another really quick check-in. It's 6 o'clock in the evening, so this is an hour and a half after the last check-in. So again, this is what we're looking like. This is the side with the Danessa Myricks primer underneath the foundation, and over here we have just the Pat McGrath foundation. So I still feel like the primer side is holding up a lot better. I think that I am still a lot less shiny on this side of the face. Now the Pat McGrath one is actually wearing better than usual, I think, but I feel like you can still see more shine on this side. So I'll probably wrap things up at about 9 o'clock, but this is what we're looking like so far. Okay guys, I am back for my final check-in. So it's a little after 9 o'clock in the evening, so that puts us just a little shy of an 8-hour wear test. I think I'm about 30 minutes shy, but I think that I've seen all that I need to see, so I'm just going to stop the wear test here. So again, on this side of the face we have the Blurring Balm Powder underneath our Pat McGrath foundation, and then over here we have just the Pat McGrath foundation with no primer. So just like when I did the 2 check-ins, I think this side of my face does look better, and I think that I'm just less shiny over here overall. So I do feel like I'm getting more of like a healthy looking glow over here, as opposed to this side of the face where in the T-zone area you can really see that I am starting to get shiny. I think I did mention that I think the Pat McGrath foundation is wearing a little bit better than it normally does, but you can definitely tell that I'm more shiny over here than the primed side. So overall, would I recommend this as a primer? If you are an avid primer wearer, especially if you have oily skin, I definitely think that you should try this, and I think that you would really like it. Now, because I don't typically wear primers, I can't say for sure if this has like completely changed my mind about incorporating this as a primer like consistently going forward, but I am going to keep trying this out with other liquid foundations just to see if I get the same outcome as today, and I think that I will, but I'll definitely keep you guys posted. So I am going to be picking this up here and there going forward, just so that I can try it out with other liquid foundations. So overall, I am very happy with the way that this wore on me today as a primer. So those are my final thoughts on this Blurring Balm Powder as a primer. So I hope that you found this video helpful. If you did, please let me know by giving me a thumbs up. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel before you head out, and I will see y'all back here for my next one. Until then, take care. Have a good one, y'all. Bye.